I played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff. The motion and stuff was really, really on point.
But you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The road gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Swack.
A push from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
All these races, and it comes down to 1 week with the reset. Back to where we started, VSRL. As you look at scenes from the infield of the virtual Daytona International Speedway, you're watching the SET Truck Series. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. And here tonight, we have a big change-up with the VRX 28 at Road on Daytona's circuit. Bring those points up on your screen, and we talk about ties. This championship has a lot of them. You've got a two-way tie between Richard Holland and Sean Langton. Then you've got a two-way tie with 5th and 6th place Rick Fagone, Justin Ritchie. A two-way tie with Ty Cleveland and Jacob Daniels. A four-way tie with 13th through 16th. Dakota Floyd through Frank Zingen. Brian Henning's there in 11th. The top 16 advancing in the points this week. A lot of work to be done here, but these drivers know what it takes. And we've got no audio here tonight in the background. Let's see if we can fix that here tonight. Is that better? Is that working now? That seems better. 4 minutes left to qualifying, and that intro would have been a lot better with some background music. But for everybody out there in chat that's been a part of the league thus far, you've seen the races. It's no surprise that Sean Langton is going to be starting up towards the front. Based off qualifying with 3 minutes, 58 seconds left, the number 8 car is on the money here tonight with a minute 54.961. Nick Gardner, very competitive time, less than a 1/10 of a second just behind him. So we'll have to wait and see what all unfolds here tonight as we go back to Daytona for the second time this season. So let's set up here with our track map and talk a little bit about Daytona Road. This track originally opening up in 1959. A 3.56 mile configuration with 14 turns. They're going to use both NASCAR 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 on this configuration. There's a bus stop on the backstretch, a chicane as they come to the finish line, and they run that infield for turns 1 through 5 as you come back out onto NASCAR 1 and 2. So the technical parts of this racetrack coming off of a long front straightaway. These cars, or trucks rather, are going to get up to about 160 miles per hour before they dive it down in to turn one. You're going to find some drivers lap one, turn one, struggling with that brake point. Could make for some great action, but 28 laps here tonight at Daytona. About 2 minutes left in qualifying. We're going to take another quick commercial break, and we'll be back with you for your grid. You're watching the VSRL SET Truck Series live on VSPEED.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
I played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff. The motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Back here live from Daytona. Getting ready to take that grid. Sean Langton setting up now as we get finished with qualifying. There's another qualifying out here. I don't know if that was a warm-up, but these guys are confusing me here tonight. The 2:34 left, and I'm trying to time this thing. I really have no idea what's going on, so I'm just going to keep stalling until we figure it out. 2:20 left. We were down to the last minute. I thought I timed it perfectly with the commercial break. Sean Langton starting up front, I think. Maybe. Are we having a secondary qualifying? Well, let's get our league steward up here into the broadcast booth and figure out what the heck is going on. Try to message him right now. I think he's out there on the racetrack, maybe. Minute 35 left. I'm getting a message right now. This is unprofessional of me. But let's just go ahead and officially announce it right now. Sean Langton with the pole award. Bald Head Island Vacations pole award for the number 8. And that's fitting. That's his sponsor for the league. So the number 8, going to put it up front with a minute 54.961. Discover Bald Head Islands, just 20 minutes off of North Carolina's coast, where the Cape Fear River meets the Atlantic. Arrive by ferry and explore by golf cart. Experience nature's paradise with 14 miles of beaches, lush maritime forests, and 10,000 acres of salt marsh. Whether it's a weekend trip or longer, find your perfect vacation home at baldheadislandvacations.com. So there's the pole award. We've still got less than a minute left to go. He has no idea. I have no idea. We're just going to send it. Let's see if we can get that starting order up on your screen soon enough here. $30 left. I think we can take it over from here. Let's put Sean Langton up on the pole with Nick Gardner just a couple hundredths of a second out. In row number 2, it's going to be Justin Ritchie with Morgan Cook. Row number 3, Kyle Stewart and Richard Holland. Todd Cleveland's going to start in the 7th position with Dakota Floyd in 8th. Frank Zingen in 9th spot. And rounding out that top 10, it's the 74 of Brian Hennings. Dylan Disborough in 11th spot with Thad Miller in 12th. Here we go. We're cycling to grid now. Rick Fagone's going to start 13th with Jacob Daniels in 14th. 15th, Riley Laverne, John Sanu. 17th, Chris Max. 18th, Justin Mullins. 19th, Ross Phillips. Cole Jarrett in 20th. And David Collins, Benjamin Richards, 21st and 22nd. Kobe Collins going to round out that 23-car field. We've got a few other. Shane Gunter. I believe this. Garrett Humlinger is actually scored as the 77 here tonight. Forgot to change his number in sim, so he'll be starting 24th. And we'll go to Shane Gunter in 25th. Wade Palmer, 26th. 27th, John Buell. Teresa Spiker going to round out the field here tonight. Trenton Collins, Wade Palmer, a few cars electing to stay off grid. There's Trent Collins in 29th. We'll have to see if he makes it out on the field in the number 4. But while we wait, let's go ahead and pull a driver up into the broadcast booth. Let's go ahead and pull up Jacob Daniels in the number 72. It's Bradley Cooper in the broadcast booth. Do you got a copy?
Hey, Coop. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm just sizing you up here. You're starting 14th tonight. You made that cut in the top 16. There's a lot of ties in here with those bonus points, cycling everything through. What's it going to take here tonight?
Well, Coop, I think really what's going to take is just a good run. Hit my marks, be consistent. Slow is faster, and really just try to avoid mistakes. There's certain guys out here that are running about 5 seconds a lap quicker than us, so we're not going to be able to keep up with them, but I think we can pull out a respectable finish and survive to fight another day.
Survival, attrition, that's what Daytona really is, even on the super speedway configuration. Just coming out here and doing your thing and minding your own business until the end.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate it, Coop, and you guys have a great broadcast.
Hey, thank you for your time. That's Jacob Daniels starting 14th here tonight, making that top cut for the final 16. All right, so we got our pre-race interview in, and now we're cycling through with a little bit of audio. The SET Truck Series VRX 28 at Daytona. 28 laps here tonight. No stage break. As I was informed pre-race, we're going to have Sean Langton starting up at the front. No surprise there. Let's see if Nick Gardner can give him a run for his money, though. You've got VSPEED on point to cover this flag-to-flag coverage. And then you have Orange Speed for the entirety of this top 5, minus the 16 of Gardner. It's going to be really interesting as that iRacing pace car pulls off. And these drivers take it into the chicane, getting ready to go green. And live from Daytona, it's SET Truck Series race number 1 in the playoffs. And coming by to lead lap number 1, it is the number 8 of Sean Langton. He has already pulled out 1.9 seconds ahead of Nick Gardner. So an excellent start to this race, but Gardner's starting to put the heat back on him. He shaves it down to 1.7 as they go into turn 1. And the 16 has put a gap on the 41 of Kyle Stewart as they go through the technical portions of this racetrack, turns 2 and 3. Shane Gunter off the racetrack, and we watched the 24 of Dakota Floyd have problems to start this race. And he has since brought it back up to 11th here, just behind Rick Fagone in the top 10. Langton just doing a phenomenal job. There he is going back out onto the super speedway. In NASCAR 1 and 2, the number 8, 2.1 seconds ahead. Down the back straightaway and cutting that bus stop perfectly. Gardner 1.9 seconds. You can see the top 5 starting to group up a little bit here. 3rd through 5th is still very undecided. Justin Ritchie has company with Morgan Cook on the back bumper. Riding on board with Cook. He's 5.5 back from Langton. Look at him backing up the final chicane here. Oh, a little loose there off, and he's going to bring it down pit road. So already down pit road for the 51. That's kind of surprising. A little short stop, trying to mix up the strategy. Nick Gardner really strong through turns 1 and turns 2. You can see him shaving down the time a little bit here. Keeping pace with your leader, Sean Langton, your pole sitter. 3 laps into this race already. And I've got to ask, where is the 5 of Ross Phillips tonight? That's your points leader coming into this race and not out on the field. Garrett Humlinger working the outside of the 13 of Thad Miller. And as they go into turn 4, he's going to get that position away and get 12th. Dylan Disbro, another one of those drivers in the top 10 in points here coming in tonight. Just outside the top 10, trying to chase down Rick Fagone. But the lead is shrank down 1.5 seconds as they come out of NASCAR 3 and 4. Langton has not outran the 16 of Gardner. And this is the kind of the first time we've seen this all season where the 8 might have a competitor outside of his teammates to be up front. It was Ross Phillips that was right on point with him at Coda, and then computer issues that sent the 8 of Langton off the track, ultimately giving up that win, in my opinion. Not as strong through 1 and 2 here for Gardner that time by. The 16 going to tuck it down in and maintain that gap. A lot of racing going on a little bit deeper in the field. Ross Phillips back in 7th. He started deep back here. He's started 19th. He's already worked his way into the top 10. So the 5 truck is fast. We'll have to wait and see if he's fast enough to catch up to Langton before the end of these 28 laps. This is currently for the 6th position as he's riding behind Todd Cleveland. Cuts the track a little bit there to get a good entry, and not quite the drive off, but a little bit loose. And he loses time to the 44 as they approach the backstretch bus stop. Possible pass here for 6 now as the 5 of Phillips goes to the outside of the 44. Looks like he might have a run as they go into the bus stop, taking it way up high, getting the draft off the 18. The 44 now early break, lets the 5 go and falls back to 7th. Battle for the lead though, heating up. 1.1 seconds as 5 laps into this race, Nick Gardner slowly creeps towards the number 8. Langton just trying to keep it under him. Gardner keeping him honest. They have pulled it 6 seconds ahead of Kyle Stewart and the 41. Justin Ritchie back here in the 4th position, starting in 3rd, got an early pass there as they went into turn 1. Lost a spot. Ross Phillips has worked his way up to 5th as he gets around Richard Holland. So this field very spread out already, but a couple drivers still haven't sorted out the top 10. You've got Dylan Disbrow, Rick Fagone, looks like Thad Miller looking to the inside, Garrett Helmlinger a little bit further back from this. The 13 able to get back around the 77. A little mistake there in the bus stop for the 10. He's going to lose a little bit of time to Disbrow, who's catching up to Dakota Floyd. Had a rough start to this race. He spun the tires. He's back almost to where he began, but he made it a little bit harder than it needed to be in turn 2. He's chasing down Brian Hennings in the 74, currently being scored in the 8th position. He's up 2 spots. Phenomenal day here for the 74. And we've seen Hennings have great races time and time again, just not getting the finishes that he needs. Maybe tonight will be a change of pace. You run up in the top 5 all race long and find yourself in the last few laps. We had some green-white checkers last week at Michigan that put Hennings out of contention. A tough break there for the 74 last week, trying to rebound. But it's still going on, and the 77 of Helmlinger goes off. Let's go back on the instant replay and see what happened. It looked like he might have tagged the grass there. He just gets loose, get back on the throttle, and spins it out right in front of Thad Miller. And loops it around on lap number 6. And still some struggles here for the 77 as he loses another spot. Tough break there for the 77. He had a pretty decent qualifying effort. Well, I guess he started 24th. It looked like he was, practice-wise, was going to start pretty well, but here tonight in 15th position. Battle for the lead heats up even more. It was under a second there for a moment, and Langton overshoots turn 1, He's still trying to get the truck under him, and now the battle for the lead is less than 3/10. Blood in the water. The shark behind him. Gardner trying to take over the lead. Gardner's going to peek to the outside here as they go into this corner. Doesn't have the drive off. They're side by side coming out of turn 3. Gardner's going to have the preferred line, though, into this next turn. And he will take it over. On lap number 7, for a brief moment, into NASCAR 1 and 2, it's the 16 of Nick Gardner taking over the lead. So a change of pace here. Langton starts up on the pole. Gardner keeps him in check. But something that we have to factor in that we didn't talk about in the pre-race, the fuel window is so tight here tonight. It's a fine line between making it one lap or one pit stop. That could be one lap difference. And Langton knows that. We talked about it in pre-race with him. He could be in a situation where he's in conservation mode, where he's going to make it one last stop than the rest of this field. Stretch out the lead, stay within a second or two, hang with those guys, and then finish it out on one stop. He'll look like a genius. So don't panic just yet if you're a Sean Langton fan. However, if you're a Nick Gardner fan, he's passed one of the fastest guys at road courses in VSRL. And he's leading this thing on lap number 8. Absolutely cheer, panic, do whatever you need to do. The 16's up front. Looking back here with Garrett Helmlinger. The closest battle on the racetrack right now is between him and Dakota Floyd, or not Dakota Floyd, rather that's the 72 of Jacob Daniels in the Beltway Coffee 72. And the pass for 14th is completed. It's not done quite yet. Floyd looked back to the inside there for a moment as Gardner got a little loose, or Helmlinger got a little loose coming off that corner. There's Kyle Stewart in the 3rd position. Up 2 spots from where he began. Starting to reel in Langton as well. 8.1 seconds, but watch that interval on the left side of your screen. It's going to fall down a little bit more maybe the next lap. Us Phillips starting all the way in the back of this field in 19th. Only 24, 25 cars make this field. So he's had to pass a lot of them in a short amount of time. 15 seconds back from the leaders. Watching the SCT Truck Series live on VSPEED. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Try to sort out some of these drivers making passes. Rick Pagone having a problem here as we get ready to go to commercial break, falling back to 13th. But we're going to take that quick commercial break, and we'll be back live right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The battle gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Black.
Dwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back here live from Daytona. And it's been Nick Gardner since lap number 8. He's keeping it ahead of Sean Langton by about half a second as that battle starts to heat back up on lap number 11. You see Langton choosing the inside here. Gardner almost concedes it, puts a little block on him there into 3. And Gardner loses the spot. Langton back on point here on lap 11. Battle for the lead, less than a second. Gardner loses a little bit of time here in the NASCAR 3 and 4, or 1 and 2 rather. And it looks like the 16's starting to struggle. Maybe used up his stuff a little too early in this run. He might have a problem later in this race. We'll have to wait and see. Back here deeper in the field, the battle for 4th position is heated up. The 55 of Justin Ritchie side by side in the NASCAR 3 and 4. With the 5 of Ross Phillips. He's going to go by and take that position into the top 5 a while ago, but now into 4th position halfway through this race. Starting all the way back where he did, it's going to take him a while to get up to Kyle Stewart. There's about 5 seconds separating those two drivers. It's going to be a minute before we check back in with the 5 of Phillips. Battle for 6th and 7th, Richard Holland and Todd Cleveland. These two trucks were getting close there for a moment, but Cleveland makes a little mistake in the final chicane, falls back about 4/10 off of Richard Holland, trying to catch back up now. So Holland having a pretty good race in the number 18. With a rough start to the season, the 18 somehow put it all together to get up there top 3 in points. He finds himself tied for second position coming into this week in that final 16. Let's put that points battle back up on your screen so you get an understanding of what I'm talking about. So there's Sean Langton, who's leading this race currently, tied with Richard Holland. Holland gonna probably fall back to third in points after tonight. Then we have Nashville to go to next week. So a lot of things going on. Put this season in perspective. There's been 5 different winners. This also gives us a great chance to talk about Orange Speed, a values-driven, integrity-fueled team, and the launch of the new Vantage AI is official. Personalized car setups based on your driving style, updated with all of the newly released vehicles coming out, including the Acura and Porsche GTPs. It's a fully trained AI-powered iRacing car setup expert that you can leverage year-round. Right now, they have a promotional setting going on for new users, 7-day free trial, and it's all for under $10 a month. Orange Speed Vantage AI is the new standard for competitive, optimized, and personal iRacing setups. You can visit orangespeedvantage.ai to get started. So Langton with another lap led. He's led 8 of them here tonight. We got Nick Gardner, who's led the other 4 that we've completed. And we're coming up on completing lap number 13. Ross Phillips gets by for 3rd place. Justin Ritchie made a mistake. And now the number 5 is pushing his way up. There you see the Orange Speed Vantage 55. Gonna lose another position. It was still a great day here. The top 5. There's Dakota Floyd, somehow works his way back into 5th. No clue how you spin out lap 1, turn 1, and don't fall out of the top 20. Kyle Sturt's fallen out of the top 5. He was running up in the 3rd position a moment ago. He's in 6th now. Not far off from where he started this race, but the 41 is Stewart, struggling a little bit here later in the run. We're exactly at the halfway point here tonight. We're working our way back through the top 10. There's 7th place driver Dylan Disbro starting in 11th. You see the glowing brakes on the number 7. He's doing a fantastic job picking his way through this traffic, but he also has to come to pit road. So now 4 tires and fuel for the number 7. Let's split this run in half. 51 and Morgan Cook's going to go around after taking that short pit to start here tonight. He might be able to make it all the way to the end. I'm not entirely sure here for the 51. We'll have to wait and see if he has to make an extra pit stop. Ross Phillips just a little bit further behind him, coming off of pit road in 6th position. He came down just before Dylan Disbro did. The battle for the lead has stretched out to 6.8 seconds. Langton. He just showed Nick Gardner that he overdrove his stuff, I think. Check in back here with Todd Cleveland. He is about 0.8 of a second back from your 7th place driver, Richard Holland. So 7th and 8th position still up for grabs. These guys haven't decided it yet. We'll have to wait and see. Thad Miller in the number 13, back in 9th. And this is not going to be the correct number on your screen. The 21 got his number because of Garrett Helmlinger. We can blame him tonight. The number 13 substitute driver last week forgot to switch his number back. But Thad Miller in the 13 coming off of turns 1 and 2. Started back in 12th, having a stellar day as well. Brian Hennings going to round out your top 10. Started and is running exactly in that spot. So some pit stops have begun. Here comes Sean Langton down the exit of pit road. Back out onto the racetrack now for the number 8. Nick Gardner following suit, coming back out as well. Kyle Stewart is another driver that has hit pit road. Justin Ritchie coming out for his stop. And Morgan Cook, unfortunately, has to bring it down pit road a second time. So that 6-second lead is going to be a lot for Nick Gardner to shave down. He was good in the short run, but can the 16 catch up to him? I don't know. I really don't. Drivers were just able to make it past halfway. And now Langton's out there all by himself with clean air. Does he back it up a little bit and save, let Gardner reel him in? I couldn't tell you, but I know that the fan favorite coming into tonight was going to be the number 8 of Langton. We knew that all along. We saw how he did at Coda before the disconnection issues. So we already knew that this was the car to beat. Gardner showed us a glimpse of what it feels like to take over the lead from Langton at a road course. It's just a matter of, is he going to be able to do that again? I don't know. He's going to have to really stay focused, hit his marks, and drive that truck perfectly if he wants to catch up to the number 8. Falling out of the top 5 is Ross Phillips back to 7th, so that puts Kyle Stewart back up to 3rd, and he's a solid 15 seconds ahead. So something happened here with Ross Phillips on pit road. I'm not exactly sure what it was, because it looks like he has a perfect in the lane in the box. He actually has one of the fastest pit stops on the racetrack. Nick Gardner is the only other driver to have that fast of a pit stop. But talking about Kyle Stewart, hey, you got to make do with what you got, and Stewart's been top 5 all race. Has a potential here tonight for a podium finish. We've all cycled through on our green flag pit stop. Sean Langton gets by the number 86 of John Sanu to put him a lap down. Still 16 cars on the lead lap. You're watching the SET Truck Series live on VSPEED. We're going to take another quick commercial break, and we'll be back right after this.
played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive. Especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The wheel gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back here live at Daytona. Riding here around the racetrack now with Brian Hennings. Sean Langton, his lead is cut down to just over 5 seconds. And some of these drivers are coming back down pit road for a second pit stop, so the fuel window must be pretty tight here, tighter than we thought it was. Because I just saw Todd Cleveland come back down pit road for the second time. I'm interested to see how this is going to pan out. Some of these guys are going to be able to make it on one stop. I mean, talk pre-race with the number 8. He was going to try to do it in one. And some guys didn't want to take that gamble, so we'll have to wait and see. I think that's where Langton is right now, as he's in save mode. Because he's lost about 2 seconds in the last couple laps. I'm interested to see how this all pans out. Hope you guys are as excited as I am to see how this finish plays out. There's no way Nick Gardner is going to catch this 8 car, right? It can't happen. He's been untouchable at every road course that we went to. It took the internet to shut it down. It took a computer to fail to make sure the 8 didn't win. He's been phenomenal here tonight as well. Kudos to the 16 and what he's done here tonight. He's kept pace with that Langton number 8. I'm excited. I want to see how this all pans out. They are a mile away from third place driver right now, Kyle Stewart, but Stewart also having a great race. Don't take it away from him. 20 seconds back, though. It really is up to Sean Langton and Nick Gardner on who's going to win this race. Justin Ritchie, I mean, they could come down and get contact. Stewart could pull it off. Don't count him out. These two could start battling back and forth and take each other out. We've got plenty of time to do it as we approach 9 to go. Langton comes up. So checking out on some of the closest battles, Dylan Disbro is about a second ahead of your 9th place driver, Brian Hennings. Hennings is at 1 spot now. Another one of those drivers that maybe hasn't taken his second pit stop, though. He has been out on the racetrack for 6 laps now. See how far he can stretch it. He might be good to go to the end. We'll have to wait and see. Kyle Stewart brings it down pit road from the third position rather. Justin Ritchie is going to get that pass. And there you see Stewart getting past. Richard Holland up into the top 5. Some of these guys that were saving fuel might make it to the end. They might get a better finishing position than they predicted. We'll have to wait and see. And you can hear some clutching there by the number 18. Trying to play the strategy card. He's taking his time through the corners. He's a solid 5 seconds ahead. Got a little battle back here. That's actually, not sure who that truck is. Looks like the 19 of Laverne going around the 41 of Stewart. Stewart's going to drive it down to the inside. 19's going to let him go. NASCAR 1 and 2. Still a top 5 day for the 41. But can Richard Holland make it on fuel? He is clutching it down this backstretch. He's trying his best to try to make it all the way. Oh, boy. And a little mistake there by the 18. Almost loses it into the bus stop, but he lives to fight another day. Lead shaved down to 4.4 seconds. Langton has to be in save mode. Let's ride on board with him. Doesn't sound like he's saving it. And I know Gardner's not. He's trying to chase him down. Four and a half seconds as they go into the bus stop. Look back here with Kyle Stewart catching up to Richard Holland. Holland had that slight little mistake there in the bus stop. Now the gap is about 1.5 seconds. Holland now falls back another position. He's trying to finish ahead of Ross Phillips, who is 6.2 seconds back. There's a number 5 now trying to chase him down. Interesting. I really have no idea what the outcome's going to be. Langton really seems like he's in save mode. Gardner's shaved it down under 4 seconds, chasing him. I'm still trying to figure this out. We've got almost 5 laps to go, and I still don't know. Kind of at a loss here. And totally doable here for the 16 of Gardner, but did he save enough? Does he run out of fuel? He's saving about as much as Langton's saving right now. On board here with the number 8. He's led 18 laps here tonight. Very loose going off some of these corners. You can hear that truck starting to struggle. 3.5 seconds is the lead now. Back here to the 55 of Justin Ritchie. Looks like another truck has hit pit road. The battle here for the 11th position. Brian Hennings going by on the inside of Thad Miller. He's gonna complete that pass now. It's back in the top 10. We've got Rick Fagone down pit road. 8 laps into this run. 77 of Garrett Helmlinger is in his stall as well. He's been in there for about 9 minutes, 50 seconds. Langton's lead with 5 to go is under 3 seconds, 2.8 as they go into turn 1. The 62 of Zinjan is going a lap down. There's the gap there between him and Zinjan, and then we go back to Gardner just behind that. .6 seconds. That is an eternity. The rest of this field, I'd have to say, is not in contention if these guys can make it on fuel to the very end. 5 laps to go. Sean Langton down the backstretch. You see the 707 pulling it down there. That's David Collins Another couple tenths shaved off here by Gardner. He catches up even more. This one's going to come down to the very last lap. Go into NASCAR. Well, they're going to go back into NASCAR 1 and 2. You're going to see the lead below 2 seconds. It looks like Langton is suffering a little bit here. I don't want to call it yet, but I think Gardner's going to be at his back bumper. I think this is going to be inevitable here. The amount of time he's losing per lap, the 8 is either saving tremendous amounts of fuel or he has used up the tires on this run. Nick Gardner is down to 1 second. And a little flip-flop here as to what the run did the first time out. Langton was able to save his tires a little bit and take the lead back. Gardner's going to catch up to him. 3 to go. 1 second is all that separates the front two. Right there in your frame, you see Nick Gardner. He's right up on the back bumper. One little mistake from Langton, and that's all she wrote. We've spent a lot of time watching these races this season, and I feel like I've gotten pretty good at watching the run and seeing how these guys are performing. I predicted that 16 is going to be on the back bumper of Langton here momentarily. Probably when the white flag comes out, I think they're going to be battling for the lead. Langton's done a phenomenal job. He's led 21 laps here tonight. Through your top 10, you've got Langton, Gardner, Ritchie, Stewart, Phillips, Floyd, Cleveland, Holland, Disbrow, and Hennings here tonight. Holland had to bring it down pit road. He's coming back out on the racetrack now. Two to go. And Langton might turn it up a notch. Half a second separating these two drivers. They drove over 90 miles here tonight, and it's all going to come down to the last 3.5. Nick Gardner all over the back bumper of Sean Langton as they come through NASCAR 1 and 2 to the outside down the backstretch, trying to take the preferred line into the bus stop. Side by side, a tuck and roll here for the 16. No mistakes there for both of them. They have to have a mistake-free race as they go into NASCAR 3 and 4. 0.2 of a second separating them into the high bank. The draft coming into factor now. Gardner putting on the pressure as they go into the final chicane for the white flag. Oh, and Gardner makes a mistake and the 16's around. A big mistake there for the 16 car. He overdrives it off the chicane and throws it sideways, and that's the race. Langton's going to sail off into the sunset one final time around this place. All he has to do is keep the tires under him, and he has a 12-second gap between him and Nick Gardner now. What used to be 0.2. And Langton has this sealed. I am so disappointed here, but for the white flag presented by VRX Simulators, it's going to be Sean Langton. And unfortunately, Nick Gardner makes a mistake there. And I fall through at the very end of this race. That is frustrating. Well, we'll be right back. I don't know why this happened, but we'll take a quick commercial break. I hate to say it, but we had some computer issues here tonight. We're back into the session. Okay, we're good. I think we're having some connection issues. I think the stream's okay, but it seems like things are falling through on the simulator side. So I'm going to take a quick commercial break and see if we can get this sorted out.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff. The motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The wheel gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Swag.
Swag.
A push from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back here live from Daytona. We have concluded our race. Sean Langton is going to get the victory. And I'm not entirely sure on the top 3, but I want to guess Then it's going to go Langton, Gardner, and Richie. So I'll have to have those drivers come up. We had a problem here with our computer, and so the production got broken here in the very end of this race. But it was down to the wire in the last lap. Gardner gave it his all. Trying to get things sorted out because we've had some issues here in the end of this race. We don't usually take a commercial break until we're ready to interview the top three, but what we're going to do, we're going to pull up some drivers up here into the broadcast booth. Get our post-race interviews with who I think is the top three. I'm accurately depicting Justin Ritchie as our third place finisher, so I'm going to try to guess that that's correct. Let's move him up now and see what happens. Justin Ritchie, third place tonight, am I correct?
I believe so.
All right, we had a computer crash there at the very end of this race. So it was like right there at the white flag. We saw Nick Gardner have problems and spin it out. He was just far enough ahead that he wasn't up for grabs. But you got third here tonight. Tough race though. I mean, you guys put it down out there for over 100 miles. What did it take to get around this place?
I think this race, probably more than any other of the road courses, was just about hitting your marks, you know? I mean, yeah, you can say that about any track, but this one especially, you know, you blow it into turn one a little too hot one time, or, you know, get those rear tires just a little bit too hot, and, you know, your race is effectively ruined because it takes a long time to get those bad boys cooled. So, yeah, just consistency and trying not to screw it up.
Well, as far as the racing goes, we know that they got very spread out. Some drivers taking one stop, some taking two, and I mean, if you're looking from the outside of the top five, it seemed like you guys were in another time zone here tonight.
Yeah. I mean, I think myself, Nick, and Sean all did the one stop, and Kyle was the first of the two stoppers. I'm not sure if anybody else behind him did a one stop, but it was I was at 0.1 gallons crossing the finish line, so we barely got her there.
But you put it all together, and the 55 gets a podium to start out the first race of the playoffs. I believe that's the format we're running here. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out, Justin, for tonight's performance?
Most definitely. I waited to the end this time. So all the Orange Speed guys, you know, Ryan, Morgan, Sean, Ross, Kyle, all the VRX guys that put up the practice sessions, just VSPEED, especially for the sick, awesome, dope broadcasts, and just everybody that throws everything together, everybody that shows up for the races. You know, without them, this wouldn't be possible. So big shout out to everybody, especially those stepping out of their comfort zone again for this road course. It's a big, tough nut to crack, we'll say. So proud of everybody that decides to run these. Oh, and Garrett. Almost forgot Garrett. I'm looking right at his name now. All right.
That was an important one.
Yep. It's a big one. El Jefe.
Thank Garrett for stealing Thad Miller's number tonight.
Yep.
I appreciate your time.
All right. Yep. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you. Justin Ritchie, third place finisher here tonight. We're able to put it together. We're going to bring up the second place finisher, Nick Gardner. And Nick, man, I know you're kicking yourself right now. You have to be.
A little bit, bud. I mean, what can you say? I mean, if I was to lose to anybody, I mean, I'm glad it's Sean. Really, I mean, let's be honest. He's like the AJ Allmendinger of these road courses. So you know, I mean, he's a hell of a racer, and you know, I just got a little too excited on throttle, and once the left side hits the curve, and I tried to get back in the throttle, it just took me around, and there's nothing you can't really save that at that point. So, but it is what it is. I mean, still overall a good point stay and everything. I'm just man, I've put in so many laps at this place. Like, this is like the only road course that's kind of like in my wheelhouse. Uh, how many laps I do, because I run the 24 hours at Daytona all the time. I know the race cars are not similar, but it still, you know, puts you a little mind at ease with the infield road course and all that stuff. The only difference is that little hairpin coming out of NASCAR 4, but man, that was tough, but I'll take it. I'll move on. Happy for Sean. He raced me clean. I raced him clean. I got nothing but respect for him whenever it comes to racing. So, I at the end there, I wasn't gonna do anything foolish. You know, I respect him too much to make a stupid dive bomb on him or anything like that. It's just not worth it. So, you know, uh, oh, good race. What can I say?
Well, Nick, we appreciated it up here in the booth that you made it exciting. And unfortunately, we had some computer problems just after you took the white flag and had the spin. We watched Langton go into NASCAR 1 and 2. He pretty much had it sealed up at that point after that mistake. But it just kudos to you. You kept him honest the whole race.
Yeah, at the end there, I knew it was gonna be really close on fuel, so I noticed I was catching him a little bit. I wasn't sure if he used a lot of his stuff, which eventually he told me he did. So I was catching him a little bit, and then with about 6 to go, I realized I was gonna be close on fuel. I mean, I was literally going to be sputtering come across the checkered flag, so it was definitely gonna be close between him and I for sure. But I mean, like I said, I mean, nothing to hang my hat on, you know. I mean, you I mean, I lost to the best, so I mean, what can you do?
I mean, you go and celebrate second place here tonight. Do you have anybody that you'd like to shout out and thank?
Yeah, man, just my wife, obviously, for letting me come on here. Obviously, with my work schedule, you know, she doesn't have to let me come on here as much as I do. So I appreciate her letting me get on here. Appreciate you, Bradley, doing a great job in the booth, like always. I always give you credit. I always got your back. Um, just, you know, you do a tremendous job up in the booth. And then obviously, I appreciate Garrett. I've known him for a while now, and I just appreciate him not only inviting me to this league, but let me be a part of it and have fun with these guys week in and week out. It's a hell of a league, and it's fun to put on a great show for the viewers out there. So I appreciate all you guys.
Well, thank you for your time, Nick Gardner, second place finisher here tonight. I know that it's not reflective. We had some computer problems that crashed out ATVO. Everything else ran fine. Stream stayed up. It's iRacing. It is only iRacing. I'm gonna have to get to the bottom of this, but some issues that we had here tonight. Nonetheless, Nick Gardner, second place. Congratulations, buddy.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
So there he is, the number 16. Let's bring up your winner here tonight. I think you gave me your virus, whatever it was, Sean, that was crashing yours. It's crashing mine now because we didn't get to see you come across for that checkered flag, but we knew you were going to get it.
Hey, thanks, man. That was a great battle. Give a lot of credit to Nick. I mean, he raced me clean. He had a faster truck. Really enjoyed battling with him. He put some major time in this week, put a lot of laps down in the truck at Daytona. So congratulations to Nick on the second. I thought I was going to be getting the second place interview after he ran me down those last 3 laps.
I wasn't sure either. It came down to a half a second in the final turn. I thought you guys were going to be door to door going into one, and then he hits that turtle and throws it sideways off the chicane. We got to see that, and then your virus. We got to talk about this because whatever it is that's crashing my iRacing, I know it's not connection because the stream stayed up. We were able to get through a commercial break while we tried to come back. What is it? Do I need to talk to Thad? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Talk to Thad. Get a Bald Head Island Vacations. Reach out to them. They'll hook you up.
Yeah, I need a vacation. That sounds pretty good, actually. It's December in Ohio, so it's not going to be great here pretty soon. But yeah, North Carolina sounds like it'd be a good time.
Yeah, just that was a fun race, man. Like I said, you know, I cut the braking zones off in the last, coming to the white flag and the bus stop. I gave him the outside. I just took the preferred spot and slowed us both down. And then going into that last NASCAR chicane, I think he was just a little too close because I blocked off the preferred braking line. And then when he got right behind me, he probably just couldn't tell where the turtles were. And as soon if you get too much of the truck on them, it really upsets it. Those things are those things are about 2 feet tall.
Yeah, they really throw that thing and jostles it, and we see it a little bit at Charlotte, but this place especially, where you hit that the wrong way and you're going to go sideways no matter what you do. You're able to master it here tonight. He said he lost to the best, is the exact quotations that I'll use. Sean Langton, the winner here, keeping it all together. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, just again, I'd like to shout out Nick. You know, that was great competition. I appreciate the compliment. You know, that means a lot coming from your peers and competitors. So thank you, Nick, for a clean race. And he had the truck to beat tonight. I mean, I was good coming out of the pits, but obviously I didn't save my rears enough on that last stint, and he was running me down. I did what you're not supposed to do, and I was driving in the mirror instead of out the windshield. So don't do that next time. But just want to thank also my Orange Speed team. Check out Vantage AI, Ryan for leading the team, all my teammates. Thank you guys. BaldHeadIslandVacations.com. Reach out to Thad. Who else we got? Southeast Tutoring, 603 Designs. Hi to my family at home. Thanks for watching. And thank you, Bradley.
We appreciate your time, Sean, and shout out to you. Great job here tonight. We look forward to the rest of the season as we go to Nashville next week.
Thank you. See you next week, man.
There's your first place finisher. I know it's not reflective on the graphics. I have to rely on technology to make these things correct. So just know that the number 8 of Langton was your winner here tonight. And that's why we're on B-roll and we don't have any post-race with the cars and the cool slow motion and all that sweet stuff that we like to do here on VSPEED. A really inconvenient time for things to crash out. But it was only iRacing. Thankfully, the stream stayed up. You guys were here for the entirety of this broadcast. I'd bring up the final finishing order, but it's definitely broken. I can see it here on my timing and scoring. We've got cars that didn't even make the grid tonight up here in the top 10, so I won't even bother doing that. Hope you guys are ready for next week, though, as we get ready to go to Nashville. I'm excited. Hope you're excited. We'll bring the points graphic back up on your screen one more time. How about that? So after tonight, Ross Phillips probably going to remain your leader. I think he got a top 5 here tonight. He finished ahead of Richard Holland and the 16-point gap. Going to be a little tight there, but I think he's going to be okay going in the next week. But you're watching the SET Truck Series live on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you like this broadcast, make sure you hit the subscribe button, or at least hit the like button. It really helps us out tremendously. Those YouTube algorithms, we don't understand them, but they do things, and they like buttons clicked. But for everybody at VSPEED and VSRL, the SET Truck Series, Adam Baker, Garrett Helmlinger, Morgan Cook, everybody that made this possible, Eddie Smith, our other producer, this is Bradley Cooper signing off, telling you to have a great rest of your week. Good luck tomorrow on Tuesday. We'll be back live here on VSPEED at 8:35 p.m. Eastern Time for BTDY. Until then, take care. Have a great night.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff. The motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The Milo gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Zwack.
A push from the 33.
It's a drag